After nearly 2 decades of on and off negotiation, India and the European Union announced the conclusion of the India EU Free Trade Agreement at the 16th India EU Summit on January 27, 2026. On paper, this links India to one of the world's largest trading blocs, spanning 27 countries and more than 450 million consumers. But in practice, it also ties India more tightly to the Western trading system at a time when global trade itself is being reorganized. Welcome to the Global Affairs Academy. Let's have an analytical review of India EU trade agreement. If you are new on this channel, subscribe now for such international updates. For context, trade between India and the EU is already huge. In 2024-25, goods traded between them were worth about 136 billion US dollar, with India exporting 76 billion dollar and importing around 61 billion dollar. This also makes the European Union India's third largest trading partner. That's why the India EU FTA is not about opening new avenues of trade. It's about improving an existing relationship at a time when global supply chains are being reshaped and trade policy is increasingly being driven by geopolitics rather than pure economics. Against that backdrop, the India EU FTA is less about headline tariff cuts and more about positioning India as part of an alternative supply chain network that reduces over reliance on a single country. With that out of the way, let's get into the meat of the deal. India's top export to the EU are manufactured goods and energy, while our top imports from the EU are high tech and capital goods such as nuclear reactor parts and aircraft. And this FTA slashes or removes tariff on the vast majority of goods. India will eliminate duties on 93% of EU imports by value. The EU will do so for 99% of Indian export. This is a big boon for labor intensive and export oriented industries in India. Let's take a look at this in more detail, starting with the industries that stand to gain from the India EU trade deal. Textile, leather goods, footwear, and gems and jewelry are sectors where tariffs still matter a great deal. Eliminating this can swing orders from countries such as Bangladesh and Vietnam in India's favor, especially for firms that already operate at scale and meet European quality standards. Electronics manufacturing and engineering goods could also given over time with the elimination of up to 10% tariff that currently exists. European firms are actively diversifying supply chains to reduce exposure to China for political and regulatory certainty. Another industry that is particularly well positioned in the rubber industry, where India already enjoys a strong natural advantage as one of the world's largest producers of natural rubber and a key supplier to global tire and automotive value chains. In fact, India has already been working towards meeting the EU's anti deforestation rules with the Bharat Sustainable Rubber Initiative, which aims to promote environmentally friendly and ethical rubber production, including reducing deforestation. Apart from this, India already supplies a good amount of pharmaceutical product to Europe. An aging European population will mean greater healthcare demand, which makes this FTA structurally important for our pharmaceutical industry. Given the US uncertainty, this is quite welcome. That said, trade agreements rarely create only winners. While several Indian sectors stand to gain, others may find this deal slightly challenging. To begin with, Indian automobile manufacturers have long enjoyed heavy protection from European manufacturers through high import duty that kept premium European cars largely out of reach for Indian consumers. This FTA is set to 10 to 40% in the coming years. While this may expand consumer choice, it could squeeze Indian manufacturers operating in the mid to premium segments. Over time, the pressure could force consolidation or push Indian automakers to accelerate partnerships, technology transfers, and export to stay competitive. India's wine and spirits industry has also been heavily shielded by steep import duty, which kept European alcohol expensive and limited to a limited audience. But under the India EU trade deal, these tariffs will be reduced in phases from 150% to 20%, making European wines and spirits far more price competitive. This could put pressure on domestic producers, particularly premium Indian whiskey and wine brands that have been trying to move up the value chain. A similar challenge could emerge in the food segment. Products such as cheese, chocolates, olive oil, and especially processed food from Europe enjoy a strong brand recall and established quality perception. Lower tariffs would make these imports more accessible to Indian consumers, increasing competition for domestic small scale producers. However, what is perhaps the most underplayed aspect of the India EU free trade agreement is services and people. The deal goes beyond tariffs and includes a comprehensive mobility framework for professionals. This means that Indian engineers, IT professionals, doctors, and even traditional medicine experts can find it easier to work short term in Europe. Students and young professionals stand to gain too. The deal includes a framework for student mobility and post study work in other world. Talented Indian graduates may find it easier to study in Europe and stay on to work. This brain circulation can build global skills and networks. Naturally, this also means India is exporting people alongside goods. Thank you.